thank you so much for tuning into another interview with Broadway Corner. I'm Ashley Ha, and I wanted to say a huge thank you for 10,000 followers on Instagram. I really appreciate all the love and support that everyone has given me from the very beginning. And as a part of our celebration, we have a special guest joining us, and that is Kapil Talwalkar. And thank you so much, Kapil, for taking the time to join me today.
Yeah, Ashley, thanks. Thanks for having me.
And Kapil studied acting at the University of Southern California, and his professional stage debut came during school when he was cast in a lead role in a critically acclaimed production at East West Players. After graduation, he remained in LA to start his film and television career, and he currently portrays the fun-loving genius coder Tobin on Zoey's Extraordinary Playlist on NBC, and it's streaming and you can watch it. And they're on their second season so far. And Kapil, thank you again so much. This is one of the coolest experiences ever, and I'm just so excited for to get to talk to you. So first of all, kind of starting at the beginning, what was the exact moment that you knew you wanted to perform and act?
Um, well, in middle school, we used to have these like history presentations where we'd like be different characters in history, and we'd like do mini skits. My literature teacher made us do Shakespeare, and I was always like one of the first people to like go up and do monologues and stuff. And I was like, man, why is it that I'm like not amazing at school, but I'm really good at this, you know? And then I started auditioning for plays in high school. And then when I started like getting roles that were really fun and cool, I was like, I love making people laugh. And that's when I knew that I wanted to do something in acting, in performing, because I just love that feeling of being on stage and like there's people laughing and having a good time. Um, and being completely sucked into the story of what's going on. So I think that was the moment, like when I was like 12 to 14 years old.
Yeah, that's really interesting. That it wasn't exactly like you started doing theater. It was just kind of like in class, then you kind of came to that realization that that's what you wanted to do and that's what you're great at. And
Yeah.
next, what was your audition process like for the show, and what was your reaction to getting the job?
It was kind of surreal. The audition was kind of crazy, actually. I'm not gonna lie to you. It was like 5 p.m. on a Friday at towards the end of pilot season and in 2019, and I hadn't gotten anything. I'd gotten close to getting a few things. I didn't really get anything. I was kind of bummed out, and it was like towards the end, people were just like finishing up with their casting. So I was kind of like giving hope that I would book something this pilot season. Then I get a phone call from my manager. They're like, "Hey, can you make an audition tonight?" I was like, "It's Friday night." Yeah, but so he's like, okay, so here's the audition. There's a bunch of jokes. There's like probably 4 pages of jokes. The character's so I pitched you, and they're gonna see you at like 8 p.m., which never happens. Usually things just end at 5. But I guess they were really trying to finish up casting because the next day there was gonna be like a table read in Vancouver. So I was like, damn, the turnaround's pretty fast. Um, so I went in, and um, my manager was like, okay, so you're gonna have to sing a pop song of your choice. You're gonna have to sing the ludicrous verse from All I Do Is Win, and you're gonna have to do all these jokes and stuff like that. I was like, wow, this is a hard audition to do in 3 hours, but I'll do it. Um, I show up with my guitar and I do Crazy Little Thing Called Love by Queen in the original Freddie Mercury key. Then I move on to All I Do Is When, which I do the ludicrous verse, and I have such a blast doing it. Ludacris going in on the verse because I never been fitting. I'm like throwing the papers all over the place, and then um, it's I pick up the papers to do the scene, and um, and then the scenes are really funny. It was like the margarita joke, the skinny girl margaritas, the Etsy. I thought you guys were doing your nails and buying matching tote bags off Etsy. Remember, like in the pilot,
I think,
um,
yeah, yeah.
it was like early Tobin jokes in first season. So I had to do a bunch of those. Then um, I got really good feedback, and then I realized I was like, okay, I'm doing well here. I got some redirects of like, hey, we want you to like ground this a little bit more, and then elevate this other thing. And I made some adjustments, and I did it, and I left feeling pretty good. And then the next day, at like 8 in the morning, I wake up to a call from my manager. He's like, they need you to get on a plane immediately because the NBC table reads in Vancouver at 5 p.m.
Oh my gosh.
What? I think I was the last person cast.
Oh, really? Yeah, it seems like it was just a perfect fit. They were just waiting to see you.
Yeah, yeah. And I got an email from Austin, reassuring me that like, hey man, you did a great job. We had a hard time casting this. Like, you came in and nailed it. I was like, great. Then we go do the table read. Nerve wracking. There's like 6 seats. We're sitting there, and a bunch of executives in a room, and a bunch of cameras on us, mics. And we did it. It was nerve wracking, but we did it, and we felt really good about it. And um, yeah, and then we shot it, and then here I am 2 years later, still doing it. So
Yeah, the table read, was that like the first time you got to kind of meet the cast and kind of understand like all the different characters and like what
correct.
role it
Yeah.
was?
What was so funny was I met Skylar, who's such a huge star, and he's like, one of my best friends now, and like a brother to me, really. And but back then, I was like, I came to the lobby, and it was like the first time we were all getting on this bus to go to the table read, the lobby of the hotel in Vancouver. And I go in the lobby, and Peter goes, "Hi, I'm Peter." I'm like, "I know you, Peter Gallagher." And and Mary's like, "Oh, hi, I'm Mary Steenburgen. I'm like, I know Mary Steenburgen. I know Mary." I'm like, and Skylar's like, "What's up, Joe, dude?" He's like, "I know you." I'm like, "What?" He's like, "Weren't you the lead in that play Radiant Vermin at the Odyssey Theater in LA?" I'm like, "Yeah."
Oh my god, that's crazy and
And so
incredible.
on the bus, Skylar was like singing my praises. He's like, "Yo, you guys have no idea. This guy is so awesome at comedy and like can hold his own in a whole 2 hour play that was just two characters and a third supporting character and um so it was really no, it was really cool. It made me feel special, like just going into the experience.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. And then getting into the most recent episode that aired, obviously it was extremely emotional and empowering. And the issues were something that I could kind of relate to, like some of the jokes that people would make towards Tobin, like that aren't funny, but people think that it is. And what was it like to you to personally participate in such an important episode? Because I know it's sometimes hard to like speak up because in fear of backlash or fear of like losing friends or feeling, bad for speaking up when you really shouldn't. And just
Of
congrats to you and the entire cast for executing it perfectly.
course. First of all, the props need to go to Austin for allowing space to tell that story. And then second, the props need to go to Zora.
Mm-hmm.
Vicky
Yeah.
Kangaga wrote the episode. And all the writers obviously who pitched in. And but it takes guts to take a big swing like that on network television. And I'm happy we did it.
Yeah.
I'm very proud of us. Um, the story specifically with Tobin, I hadn't seen that told about a workplace situation like that.
Mm-hmm.
And to me, I was like, this is something so many people can relate to.
Yeah.
That the first generation kids of the immigrants, whether you're Korean American, Indian American, Ugandan American, doesn't matter. I feel like there's like a through line that the experience of coming to America and having a sense of, you know, identity crisis
Mhm.
and where your allegiance lies, et cetera, et cetera. I was like, that's such an interesting concept to explore, and how to fit in and how we fit in. And in this greater scope of this systemic racism stuff that was happening at Spark Point, I'm glad that like that story was told as a way to like fuel and catalyze the bigger picture of first gens supporting Black people in the workplace. So I was just really proud of it. It took obviously some revisions to get there, and some conversations of like some tweaks and stuff and changes, and what was really cool is like the entire writing team in Austin were so cool and open about making those changes and getting it right.
Yeah, definitely. And how much of your own experience as a person of color was incorporated into the most recent episode? Because I think you said in another interview or something, like you either got to talk to, I think, either Zora or Austin maybe about kind of your experience, and then you didn't really know
Yeah.
why at first, or something like that. Yeah.
Look, I mean, like between my own experiences and my close friends who are also Indian American, I mean, the accent stuff I was talking about, mistaking me for the shawarma guy stuff. The truth is, it's like those are two examples of real things that happen to people. But like on a greater scale, things have happened to me all the time of like, growing up. And as a result, I have literally tried to find a way to survive in that environment where I don't feel less than. So I would go home when I was in middle school, high school, and like study comebacks that were funny and quick,
Mm-hmm.
just so like I wouldn't get hurt.
Yeah.
And so we had a conversation about that. And so that moment of you know being called slumdog, and then me coming back really quick being like slumdog to a billionaire, it's a way for me to self-efface myself to fit in, to make another joke, but also make myself to come out on top, even though it's not really, to make them think that they're not getting to me,
Yeah. Of course.
you know and so that part was very real.
Mm-hmm.
And there were small tweaks to get those conversations more and more accurate. But what was great was there's a Indian writer's assistant in the room, Zora, who's also a first gen. And I was involved in a lot of those conversations too. Just great that like, you know, you're writing about us with us.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah. I think uh, just the script, the episode, the way it was like acted out by all the different people, because it was coming from a real place. I think it really just resonated with everyone, and maybe gave some people who didn't realize that these were issues in the world, like kind of open their eyes a little bit.
Of
Because I mean,
course,
yeah. What were you gonna say?
that's that's the Jane perspective or the Zoe perspective,
Oh yeah, yeah.
right? Of like and by the way, Jane is a wonderful actress because she plays it so empathetically, where she's coming from a great place,
Mm-hmm.
right? But it's just that like doesn't have the perspective
Yeah.
or the tools rather. And
Mm-hmm.
so this storyline takes her a step in the right direction. So that too, that to know that she's also flawed as a human being. Um
Mm-hmm.
anyway, go ahead.
Yeah. I was gonna say also like um it's kind of interesting how sometimes, like with Zoe, she tries to help Simon when she sees him suffering, but it's just in the like totally like one of the worst ways, kind of like it just doesn't.
Yeah.
It's not really the right way that was needed, and I think it's really good that the show kind of addressed like this isn't how you help. Like this is kind of how you help. You have to understand that you need to learn some stuff and kind of understand the perspective that you should be seeing instead of just like kind of more blindedness to it. And just like with a lot of the stuff happening now, it's kind of like there's people you can tell they're trying to help, but not quite in the most great way. And it's kind of interesting because you gotta help them a little bit, kind of give them perspective and kind of help them just learn about the different experiences that people of color have to face because it's incredibly hard. People don't talk about it. Like, I mean, there's jokes and things that are said, and it just makes me so uncomfortable. And kind of seeing Tobin have to deal with that, it really made me think about like at school and all that kind of things, and it just really resonated and I guess kind of validated my experience, and really just helped me a lot. So thank you.
Yeah, no, of course. My pleasure. I appreciate that. And, know that I left it all on the table when I did that performance. So, um, it's like the piece of me was part of that. A very meaningful piece of me was in that episode.
Yeah, yeah. And on another different kind of lighter note, I was wondering if you have any mishaps during filming, because with theater, it's like you're doing the same thing over and over again, obviously, like, with different plays and things might go wrong all the time, but with filming, you don't do it as many times. So I was just wondering if there's any kind of
Constant
hilarious.
mishaps. Constant mishaps, actually. I am the mishap king. You can ask all my castmates. I'm just a little bit klutzy, you know?
Same way.
I'm just I just will be like in the middle of a take, Jane will be doing something and I'll just like explode into laughter. And then I'll be like, it was her fault. And they're like, Cap, please focus. Um or like funny things on set in the middle of a take. Oh, sometimes. Excuse me, sorry. Sometimes Skylar and I, if we're improvising,
Mhm.
um, if we get to in a situation that is appropriate, um, sometimes I'll let the camera run a little bit, and we'll just like be in the scene and still doing it. Some of it actually ended up making it into the show. There was like this line from Lauren Graham from last year says, "Does anyone have any new ideas?" I go, I got this robot dog that can tell the weather idea in my back pocket. And she goes, keep it there. Anyone else? No, nothing. And then she leaves, and that's the whole scene. And then, but the thing is, we were cross shooting it, as in like there was a camera on Skylar's reaction, and there was a camera on me for my line.
Mhm.
And Skylar was like, robot dog, huh? How does it charge? It's a complicated process, but you have to walk it, dude. And 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 then we just like went into this banter, and a couple of those lines actually ended up making it in. So in terms of mishaps, I know it's not really a mishap, but it's like an opportunity for us to just be kind of like funny and fun on set. And you know,
Yeah, and I was glad that you and Skylar in one of the most recent episodes kind of got to have more like a scene together or something, and then where Max was like, "Wow, like, Tobin, I didn't know like you were such an amazing coder," when they were trying to like figure out a glitch, and I was like,
yeah,
"Hey, Max and Tobin get to interact again," because
I know.
after he was kind of gone for a little bit.
I know. I miss working with them. I miss working with Skylar. Skylar's great.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm sure. And I have another question I have is from my mom because she and I actually watched the show together.
Oh,
Kind of one of our things that we do, just because it's such a great show. And her question is, which bar from Spark Point is your favorite? And if you don't like any of them, which one would you like to have? Because I think our personal favorites are probably the seafood bar on the sixth floor, just because like I love seafood so much, and all the kind of running joke about all the different bars when they had budget cuts and it going away. That's just been like really hilarious.
there's
Which one's
there's
your favorite?
my favorite is the bar that's coming up in episode 7.
Oh, okay. So I guess you gotta wait to see which one that is. But I'm so excited to see. And
Actually, my favorite bars are coming up in the next few episodes.
oh, okay, we'll have to keep. Everyone's got to keep an eye out for Kapil's favorite
Yeah,
bars.
yeah. Like, yeah. I mean, they're coming up. I love that. I love the bar in 7 and even 8.
Mm, okay, we'll have to like kind of figure it out which one it is next time. Um, back in
You'll
next time in March, which seems
yeah.
so far away, but since it's the pandemic, time kind of has a mind of its own, and you never quite know what time it is, what day it is. So
No, but
it'll
weird.
be
Sometimes, like sometimes weeks go so fast, and sometimes they go like, "What? I'm still here."
yeah, definitely. And then kind of we're about to close this out. Like, would you mind sharing kind of a quote or a person or some like a faith that motivates you each and every day, and just what keeps you going?
Let me think for a sec. What keeps me going is this. This is my dream.
Mhm.
Like, I'm literally living my dream. I'm singing, I'm dancing, I am acting, doing comedy, intense drama in a musical TV show about a show I insanely believe in, with a cast that is phenomenal, with a creative team that's phenomenal and inclusive. This is literally the dream environment that I saw my first big gig
Mhm.
on television happening. And every time I start to get a little bit jaded about the pandemic or whatever it is, I always need to remind myself how incredibly grateful and incredibly lucky I am to be in a situation, to be creating art and creating work and doing the thing I love the most.
Mhm. Yeah, definitely. And I forgot to mention this earlier, but do you have any advice for a person of color like me who would like to pursue a career in the arts just like you?
What kind of career are you into?
Well, I mean, I'm kind of want to be like hopefully make it to Broadway and do theater, but I'm
You
also
say
open to like, yeah, I'm a singer. Yeah, and I there's a few videos on my page and I just love to sing and
right
act.
now. You sing and act.
Yeah, I'm like a mover dancer. Like I'm not like a fully trained dancer, but I'm like pretty I can pick up choreography.
I'm
Uh,
that's where I'm at pretty much. I'm like a mover dancer. I'm not like, some insane like trained dancer. I I'm you know, I'm a singer, and I would say this. East West Players is a great place to start.
Mhm. Yeah,
You're in Los Angeles,
yeah.
right?
Mhm.
Uh, get into a musical theater program if you can. If not, um, I would say just make your own work, whether it's writing songs, whether it's creating like small projects with friends. Keep hustling, keep putting work out there, because at some point in time, there's so many platforms right now: YouTube, Instagram. Look at you getting 10,000 followers on this show. It just goes to show that if you put out good work and you continue to put out good work, Doesn't matter. We're in an age where you will be seen. And um and that's what I would say to you, to be like, keep creating content, and then also likewise, you know, do the things, the traditional things through your career of, like, you know, auditioning for plays, auditioning for TV shows. If you have an agent, get one. And That's what I would say. But number one thing is keep creating your own work, and keep creating with friends and people close to you that you trust and value their advice and creative mindset.
Yeah, thank you so much. And I have one last thing that I'd like to do before we close, if you have
Sure.
like a few more minutes. This should only take a second, but my mom helped me come up with this idea to kind of do a sort of emotion photos thing where, like, I name an emotion like happy or sad, and you kind of have to just emote it on your
Is she
phone.
around? I mean, she has two questions. I'll say hi to her.
I have no idea because I know she went out earlier to get.
Bring her on. If she's around, call her.
Let me go check real quick.
All right.
Okay, so she's out still, but I can have you say hi to my dad.
Sure, bring him in.
Person.
Hey there, hi, how are you?
Hi, good, nice to meet you.
Meet you as well. Thank you so much for taking the time to work with my daughter. She's a huge fan.
Oh, it's a pleasure. I'm happy. She's got great questions, and we're about to do like a quick fire emotion sort of thing game. So I'm excited. I know your wife also watches the show, so I wanted to say hi. She had a question about the food bars and stuff, and an idea for this. So I was like, I'll say hi to your mom, yo. Let's go.
Yeah, she's out right now, but yeah, I'll let you get back to what you're doing. But again, thank you so much. Really appreciate your time.
Of course.
All right. Bye now.
That was so nice of you. Thank you. Yeah, he watches the show because we all just kind of play it on the TV in the living room, so everyone just kind of watches it at the same time.
Oh, great.
And so yeah, he loves the show too. So let's get on to our kind of fun little game activity. Okay, so the first emotion is surprise.
So I have to say what? What do I have to say?
Oh, nothing. You just look surprised, like kind of.
Oh, okay.
So 3, 2, 1. And then next one, let's look sad. So 3, 2, 1. And next one, let's look mad. Okay, 3, 2, 1, go. Next one is shy. I'm just gonna stop saying the 3, 2, 1s because it's gonna getting repetitive.
Yeah, right.
So next one is shy. And the next one is easy because it's happy. And that's just how I'm feeling right now. So
Yeah.
there's no need to do any acting at all.
No.
Next one, I'm sure you are probably extremely tired with so much. You're just so busy. Like, it seems like you're doing everything right now and doing it so well. So look tired. And the next one is confused. And the next one is suspicious. And then the next one is frightened. And the next one is confident. Of course, I feel very confident with the ring light reflecting off my glasses. The next one is sleepy. And then disgusted and embarrassed, disappointed, stunned. And then the last one is guilty. Well, thank you guys so much for tuning into another Broadway Corner interview with the incredible Kapil Talwalkar. Please make sure to follow him on Instagram at ktalwalk and follow me on Instagram at Broadway_corner and also on TikTok with the same username. And please make sure to subscribe to this YouTube channel. And thank you again, Kapil, for doing this interview.
Of course. Yeah, my pleasure.
Yeah, well, thank you so much. I hope everyone has an amazing day, and I'll see you next time.
Bye.